Hi, it's Laura from the Charleston Holistic Center. And I thought I'd do a physics lesson today. Yep, because I talk about this stuff all the time. And some of you I know have understand it, and some of you it just kind of goes. So let's see if we can get rid of the over the head a little bit. Just a little bit. And yeah, I have my board with my props. And yeah, it's old school. So it's just easier. All right, so here we go. The black wave up here. Couple things I've drawn on it. I've drawn a really funky looking upside down Y that goes from one point to the same exact point on the next wave. That's called a lambda. It's wavelength. That's what wavelength means. Okay, you go from one point to the same point. Okay, and how far that is, literally the distance. Then there's amplitude. Okay, amplitude is how tall the wave is. You could have the same length waves and have different height to them. Amplitude is related to energy for a lot of types of waves. So the bigger the amplitude, the more energy the wave has. Anybody who's surfed, even if it's just body surfed, knows about amplitude. Okay. You go out to the North Shore in Hawaii, you get the really big waves. You come here to South Carolina, you don't have much waves a lot of the time. Okay? Then there's frequency. We talk about this all the time. Frequency, frequency, frequency. But so many people have no freaking clue what that means. It's the waves per second. Literally how many waves go past a point in a second. It's often measured in hertz. You might hear me use the word hertz. The black wave is a lower frequency than the purplish wave. Purplish wave has more waves that go past a point in a second. Okay? So low frequency waves also are lower energy. The frequency also has to do with the energy. So when I talk about anger and guilt and shame and blame and all of that, and I'd say that you have a low energy, low frequency wave, this is what I'm talking about. I'm talking more like the black, okay? When we're talking peace, happiness, contentment, we're talking a higher frequency wave. It has higher energy. Then there's coherence and incoherence. We talk about this a lot. I say coherent heart, coherent brain. What the heck does that mean? Well, here it is. Okay. See how the waves are just all piled on top of one another nicely. That's coherence. Okay. That means the waves support each other. The waves are on top of each other. And this is called constructive interference. What actually happens when you have waves like that is it increases the power of the wave. Coherence is like a laser. There are lasers that you can get, not you probably, but people can have, that the right laser, you can bounce it off the moon. Now think of the really old style flashlight. Even a really good one, 10 feet. Yeah, that was pretty much your max on those, right? That's incoherent, okay? Laser by definition is coherent. It literally piles the waves on top of one another. Incoherent, they're all over the place. Tons of different wavelengths, doing all kinds of different things. And this is known as destructive interference. And actually, in effect, it significantly diminishes what the wave does. So, when it comes to our spirituality and all of this stuff I talk about, we want a high frequency, high amplitude, very coherent wave. By the way, the coherence is what actually increases the amplitude. One of the ways to increase it. So we want to shorten the wavelength, increase the frequency. We do that by our emotions. What emotions are you dealing with? Are you dealing with those low frequency emotions of shame and blame and guilt and anger? Yuck. Or have you gone to at least contentment? Courage is higher. Peace, joy. So this is what I'm talking about when I talk about that. Just so you know. So now you have like the picture in your mind of what the heck it is I've been talking about this whole time. Come on, you can understand this. If you do have any questions, please ask me. This is the stuff I do, and you can do this. Just say it. Thank you, and namaste.